Hello everyone, welcome to episode 55, live with Sirus Migration. Again, a question and answer session, and we want to update the latest migration in news with you, and also if there's any other questions that you would like to ask, here's the time for you. We dedicate the whole hour or half an hour, whatever it is, to discuss what's news in the migration industry, and also if you have any questions you can answer. My name is Isuru Yapa. I'm an Australian registered migration agent, and it's been a while since I've done this session with my lovely wife. She's here today as well, Ashani. She's an migration agent as well.
Migration agent as well. And before we go any further, do excuse the noise. There's some construction going on. There's a big high-rise coming next door, which is taking its time and making its noise. So do excuse. And today is all about Australian migration, offshore, onshore. There's
today's the last monthly update. Can't believe it's already June 2022, halfway into the year, and this is the last episode just before the financial year. What it means to migration side. So
especially for skilled migration.
Skill migration, business migration,
Yes.
and also employee-nominated areas as well. There's a big difference, and reason why July is important. So in Australia, 1st of July to 30th of June is the financial year. Every financial year they decide. The government decide what's the next year's migration program
going to look like.
We know the outset. We've already spoken about it. We know the allocations are being great, and
so how many numbers for which visas and all that. I think we've already shared that information with you. So that's gonna come into action from 1st of July.
So we know the quotas and numbers and all that sort of stuff. But what's going to happen after 1st of July is it is famous for 190 when it comes to general skill migration. 1st of July or after, the state government's going to announce what sort of occupations and also what's going to be the protocol for their selection criteria for next year. So this is, we are in the doorsteps of the new financial year. So if you had a bad time, we might be looking at a good one coming forward, or if you were looking for the new points and stuff like that, it's
especially
going to be
our viewers from offshore. Last couple of years were pretty bad for you because Australia was closed for offshore migration for almost all the occupations, which we are hoping and we can see some light there. It's going to be a bit different this coming financial year. There'll be a lot more opportunities for people who are offshore to apply for skill migration and come to Australia.
So before we go forward, I think Mario wanted us to talk about the election, so let's get that out of the way, because it's just I'm not a good political person, so my political opinions always quite neutral. I think they all the politicians have good intentions and good visions, way beyond my league. So all I can do is always support the politicians and support the systems they bring out. So those who are watching from outside of Australia, if you don't know it, there's a new government that Australia established not long ago, a couple of weeks ago. New Prime Minister. Congratulations to Honourable Prime Minister from the Labour Party. So it used to be Liberal Party earlier. So there's a lot of from the previous experience, there's expectations for immigrants that it's going to be better migration program coming out and supporting the economy towards from the employee-nominated areas as well. And the government's already taken steps towards easing some of the tough decisions, like we've seen the below families getting back into the community. So that's an good indication of opening
it's
up
going to look like.
good migration program. But even before this, we already saw this year's migration programs already looking very good. And Mario wanted me to predict what's going to be looking like for the next financial year. So in my way of thinking, Reserve Bank already put the interest rate spiking out because the unemployment has gone down significantly. So everyone's occupied, everyone's working hard. And what my experience so far is, it is hard to find a lot of employees and employees in the market. So there is a big void in the Australian labour market with the skilled labour. So that will create a lot of opportunities towards certain visa subclasses such as 482, 494 and 186 visas, allowing you pathways, and also the Dharma programs allowing you pathways to employment if you're already skilled and also qualified in those occupations. If you're not, I think it's still going to be another positive outcome, because university has been delivering a lot of online programs for a while, and now they've opened. It was a bit of a rush for all the international students to come in the February intake, but this is going to be the next big intake coming in. We've already seen, I've been flying through Nepal, Sri Lanka, India last few months already, and I've seen the flights are chockers, so they're full. A good indication that the visa systems, the international student visa systems easing out and allowing students to come in. There are lots and lots of good university programs that are coming out. There are still outstanding university offers and scholarships for international students as well. We are currently we all aware that Sri Lanka is going through a bit of a financial difficulty with the foreign reserves, so sending transferring money across the international borders are a bit of a tough time for them. So, and also there is a depreciation in the currency. So I already had several official meetings with a few of the universities. They actually got in contact with us asking what's your opinion and how we can help. And we are coming to Sri Lanka on 19th of June again, and we are planning to offer some quite few good scholarship for students who's looking to enroll into the semesters coming up in Australia. And so what are we looking at next, Mario? Do you have
So we talked about students and going to Sri Lanka. Mario, do you want to share the screen so there's information of the event? So this is the information about the event that we are going to have on 19th of June in Colombo. So if you're watching from Sri Lanka or from Australia and you have people in Sri Lanka who's interested in coming to Australia for either student visa, actually skill migration, or any other visas, get in touch with us so you can make an appointment to see Isuru in Sri Lanka. And if you're an international student, I think there's going to be how many colleges and schools
there
coming to Sri Lanka as well.
University of Southern Queensland is going to be there. Queensland University of Technology is going to be there, and
so US, QUT, and there are more universities.
Southern Cross University, University of Southern Queensland. So there's quite a few universities going to be there, representing
with some
them.
Attractive scholarships as well. So get in touch with us, come and see us on the event. So hopefully we can get you to Australia for, if not July, but summer semester, which is starting in October.
So we might be looking a little tired this week. We've been pushing a lot of 188A, 188B, and C visas because it's
Business visas.
Business visas still. Last couple of weeks, I am expecting the states will be closing very soon for business visas. So a lot of this clients know that business visas been the states are mostly closed for most of the other visa categories, but business visas still open. So last few invitations, if you're getting ready, if you have all your financials ready, this is one of the quite straight visa. If you're expecting to extend your business outside of Australia, your own country, then it might be a very good opportunity for you to come. If there is an indicative age limit 55, but if you're over 55, there are states still allowing you to come. The minimum benchmarks are you supposed to be operating a business turning over a minimum of 750,000 or 800,000. And then the minimum asset benchmark is 1.25 million.
Yeah.
So if you have those two initial qualifications, give us a call and we'll go through. If your financials are up to date and they're all ready, we might be able to still get you an invitation, help you get an invitation before the end of financial year. One
of my first clients who watched this program, and I applied for 188A, he got his visa and he's arriving in Australia on 6th of June, I think. So he was from India.
There's many clients coming in different 188 visas. We're already into good news, but while watching some of our success stories this week, I'll keep on talking. 188 is, as I said, the parameters are quite straightforward. You don't necessarily need to have education background, demonstrate education background or English background. So you don't need to sit for IELTS exams or PTE exams, etc. In most of the certain states. New South Wales, looking at target sectors, etc. We already spoke about it in videos. Have a look at them. If you have any questions in relation to how to bring your business forward and get into a business visa in Australia, you pretty much get a 5-year visa. After almost about 3 years, you can start applying for your 888, the permanent residency visa, as long as you fulfill all the requirements. 188C, the significant investor visa, where you invest $5 million. Remember, now with the nomination, you're going to need to demonstrate that you already have a audited report from your fund manager. So this is a new addition that is in the system, where you did not need to do this towards the end of the visa application process. Now, at the nomination level, you need to get a audited fund certificate from your fund manager. So fund managers. And also for those who are asking questions about the business visas, if you have a family with kids younger than school age kids, so your whole family can come in. Your partner is eligible to either work in your business or free to work outside full time, and your kids can go to school, public schools for free, so you don't have to pay any tuition fees for them. That saves about between $10,000 to $12,000 depending on which state, which school you're looking at per year per child. So that's a massive saving there as well, and good schooling system in Australia as always.
I think let's go and answer some of the questions.
Absolutely.
Of people who've been waiting to hear from us. So we've got Lakpriya Heshan. We want to know about the new rule that's going to come into effect this July related to changing postgraduate program.
so this is the student visa bar that you cannot. So you're expected to study full time with the same provider.
So it can't change course.
You're not meant to change courses. But
I hope
if
that's the one you're talking about. So
and luckily,
yeah.
if you have a specific issue with the provider or anything like that, you may still have opportunities, but we need to go through the personal background. So give us a call. We'll go into the subject personally, but the rule is that you're not meant to change the provider.
Yeah.
So it was still there, but there was a limit. As long as you complete 6 months of your studies, you could do it. But then now they're strengthening it. But sometimes genuinely, I've been working with international students since 2006. So I'm an international student myself, and so is Ashani. So we've gone through the same process. There are students who's purposely uni hoppers, studying years and years.
I think that's the problem.
So
going to be
they
not
want
for genuine students.
Correct. So the intention of this is to avoid that. But sometimes you get to students where you see they're genuinely looking into a different pathway because they learn something
and
else.
When you're 19, 20, of course you haven't got your life figured out. So,
absolutely. So
right?
That's what Ashani thinks.
No,
Not
that
my
is
opinion.
true. Okay, let's move to Joanna. Hi, I submitted my GTI EOI by you in July. Need to wait? Please reply. Is there any changes?
GTI, Joanna.
Okay, Joanna.
So you submitted your Global Talent Independent Expression of Interest by us in July 2021, I guess.
Okay, so with GTI, these days it takes about 13 months for a EOI to be either accepted or rejected. So that is the normal time frame we are looking at, 13-14 months. It started as 2 weeks, but it's gone so long because there is a big backlog of cases that they are also working on. So we've been told not to get in touch with them asking for the status of the EOI, because that's again going to take them more time to look at those emails and reply. So we are to apply for a GTI EOI fully complete application if possible with form 1000 with the information, a lot of information of the the nominator as well. We need to now prove the nominator a lot. So try to lodge a complete application, then wait to hear from them.
So Global Talent Independent Program came out in November 2019. Ever since then, it was ever evolving, and it's the department themselves. They went through a lot of protocol changes and procedure and policy changes, and also the communicating platform changes. So the processing needed to reshape many times. Long story short, it was about 2-3 weeks as Ashani for nomination approval when we first did it, EOI approval, but later on it went out to 6 months. But sharing our current experience, getting grants for clients who we apply around June, July at the moment. So Joanna, if you haven't heard a response from the department yet,
depends June. Yeah, it must be July 2021. We should hear from them
and what
soon.
sector as well. Yeah, ICT. I actually I just lodged just before we came here. I just lodged 858 visa application for a client in Digitech sector. He was originally from USA. The application went through in about June, July, somewhere there to my memory.
And
So
also it depends on the quality of the application. So if the application is really high quality and it ticks all the boxes, and it's especially if the skill is in great demand in Australia, there is a chance that you will get it within weeks or within months.
digital financial services, Digitech are in good shape,
Yeah.
but other sectors were in priority.
Can
They
take
will,
some time
yeah.
if you're not prioritized. Okay, I've got
So, good luck,
Charlene
yeah.
asking, "Hi sir, I have taken studies for July intake along with my wife and a kid. My wife is a developer programmer with 9 years experience. We have 80 points for 491. I know it's low, but what all options do we have?" So I
So-
believe you're in Australia studying?
Yeah, 80 points. I'm just wondering whether it's with the state points 95 or is it
Maybe
total?
with the state 80
But
points, but still
what
it's
I'm
not
seeing,
too bad.
Yeah, what I'm
Yeah.
seeing very positive about your CV or your
Developer
work
programmer with 9
experience is
years, yeah.
developer programmers in priority sector, and also got 9 years work experience.
And
The-
if you're already working, maybe there's an employer who's willing to sponsor you, and
Sponsor you.
because you have 9 years work experience, you will be eligible for 186, which means direct permanent residency.
So
You
the
may not
best-
even have to go through 491.
Yeah, the best option, the straightforward option is to go through 186 direct entry.
Yeah.
So you have over 3 years work experience with bachelor's degree, as long as you have IELTS 6 in each band, or I think PTE it's 50. So you need to get a skills assessment, and more importantly, you need to find an employer.
Yeah.
So if an employer is giving you a 3-year work experience, very less commitment from the employer as well, as long as they're paying you a market salary, reasonable, decent salary, and not more or less beneficial than a current Australian worker in their workplace. So it's one of the easiest and best one. Otherwise, of course, 491, 190 are available. 80 for 491 is not a bad number depending on which state and where it is. Also, don't be disappointed. The numbers has increased for 2022-23. So I think I'm positive that you will get a good response.
Yeah. Mario, we'll quickly finish YouTube and move to Facebook. So, yeah, and send us an email, admin@sirus.com.au, Charlene. We will look at your case personally and see what are the best options for you. I've got Saumil Patel asking, who gets 8503 no further stay on visitor visa? I'm planning to apply visitor visa for brother and then apply for student visa. How
Yeah.
does it sound? Is it possible?
So if you're a permanent resident in Australia right now and trying to go through family-sponsored visitor visa category, there's a mandatory 8503 in there, so that's mandatory. It's always going to be there. It used to be called 679 subclass back in the days. Now it's 600. But if you are going through a normal general 600, it's discretionary to the case officer.
Yeah, it's up to the case officer. If the case officer looks at the case and decides, okay, I'm going to put 8503, he
It's
will get
under the-
8503. It's up to
under
the
the case
officer.
officer's discretion. But
Yes.
again, I'll be frank, getting into a visitor visa coming to with the wrong intention is not an encouragement. So maybe it might be better if we go into the student visa directly if you want to study, so that way you don't have to worry about these uncertainties as well.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, get really good advice before
Because
you go
it
ahead
might-
and apply for visitor,
and
right?
commercially and financially as well, it might save you a lot of money and a lot of hassles. You could have to go through the visitor visa process. These days it can take up to a couple of months, and then again look for something else, and then it might also conflict with your GTE criteria.
Especially when you try
to
to apply for 500 here, because
It-
what you said in your visitor visa is different to what you're going to be saying in your student
I had
visa.
this question quite a bit when I was meeting clients in India last month, when I was meeting clients in person. But my advice is, again, check if there's any other options, or if you get in the right advice, maybe talk to right people, get few advice and compare what's the best option too.
Yeah. So I've got Harash is saying good afternoon sir, my son is already in Melbourne, fulfill the points he needs. How will be status of PR? He's a mechanical engineer. Harash, why don't you get your son, or you can send us an email, send us his CV. We will do a personal assessment for him, figure out how many points he has. That way we can give a more informed decision or advice based on actually his CV and more questions.
Depends on the experience and
there's
background
lot
qualifications
of other
as well. Just long story short, 2 years experience with relevant qualifications and compete in English, not compete in vocational English, you can then go into 482 visa.
He's currently in Melbourne studying, and he's got
maybe
the points.
he's got prior experience too.
Yeah, so that's why get in touch with us. We will have a look.
We just submit this morning a 186 direct entry visa in Melbourne for the same mechanical engineer. So
I've got Mohammed asking, what about processing time for 491 visa? Is there any news about pending cases?
expression of interest or actual application
visa,
processing.
I think.
Processing
It's
can
pending
take up to 8
cases,
to 12 months depending on how it goes, but I had some horror stories about going over a year, but normal
it's taking a long time. There are delays, so do expect delays. But if it's over 13-14 months or the prescribed time in Home Affairs website, if it's at least twice that time or 1.5 that time, then get in touch with the team. That's our advice.
Kasun, how you say 491 visa next year, we have better next coming years we have better expectations for 491 visa. There's a lot of regional development going on in Australia, and got a lot of incentives going towards regional development. There are in Queensland itself, I see there's a lot of infrastructure funding going towards places like Townsville. Townsville's going very big at the moment. There are defense training articulations going through with South Korea, Singapore, and the base is getting bigger. And there are major developments going on in regional Australians. So they are looking for more regional based skilled workers as well, and skilled migrants. So there'll be better options for regional. And also when you apply, you get 15 points granted from state government for your points as well. So the basic requirement is 65 for any skill visa. So if you take just get 50 and 15 points from 491 state, that's 65. So getting 50 is quite easy. Even if you're between 25 and 32, study in Australia for 2 years, get a bachelor's degree minimum, that's 50 points for you without going through anything else. So work experience, NATI, everything else adds up. So 491 is very positive.
Yeah, I've got Tisara asking, I think we've already answered this question, Tisara. He wants to know how long it takes to get the 491. So a year or more, or it could be less. So hopefully you will get it sooner. I've got Charlene. I think we answered this question. I think they typed the question again. So I've got Kasun asking, so what would be the visa processing time for next financial year? Is it the same as now?
It is hard to predict that, Kasun.
Hopefully it'll be better.
We all expecting better
Yes.
outcomes, but I think they're looking into like with the labor shortage as well. There'll be a lot of these visas processed quicker, especially if you're onshore. I mean, if you're onshore,
depends on the visa category as well. It really depends on what category and what are the other background information. But hopefully, even with the immigration, with what we've seen in years, there's always backlogs, but then they somehow go and clear it and get it up to speed. Then again the backlog starts. So it's a circle. It depends on which part of the circle that you get caught under.
It is always good to have this visa thing out of the way. I know the feeling. You've gone through it. So,
yeah, and I've got Kunal. It's a really good question you're asking, Kunal. What all documents are required from employer sponsorship direct entry from the applicant? Data analyst with 80 points. So to answer the question, the mandatory basic requirement from the applicant, competent English.
That's IELTS 6 in each band or PTE 50?
Yeah, you can Google competent English, skills assessment. So positive skills assessment is a must.
Full skill assessment with 3 years work experience.
Yes, and you need to have a qualified 3 years work experience. The good news is the experience doesn't have to be all full-time now. Now you can add part-time experience for subclass 186 as long as it adds up to 3 years full-time equivalent.
I think it's 35 hours per week into 52 into 3. If you get that number, I did it the other day, it was 5,000 something hours.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, demonstrate that within the 5 years, even part-time is okay.
Yes. So that's the basic requirement from the applicant. And to answer your next question, he's asking, should I go for 189, 190 or direct entry with 80 points?
So going back, if you're talking about employer sponsorship direct entry, points doesn't matter.
Points,
it's not a thing for you. 80 points, I would say 491 would be the best option. 190 also could be.
Looks like he's working in the city. So what I would recommend you for the second question, 190, 189 depends on what visa you currently hold. So if you have a visa with a 3-year validity, you can try 190, 189 and wait. But if you're holding a visa that's going to end in 2 months, I would definitely suggest you to go for employer nominated visa. 186. So it really depends on your circumstances. Get in touch with us one more time. Send us an email. We'll look at your personal circumstances and we will give you an answer to these questions.
Well, Kunal, good thing is telecommunication engineers do get invitations at 80 points for 190 sector. But remember, if I was you, if you have the time and all that sort of thing, and if you have an employer, that'll be the best option. Ask for a 186 if allows it.
I've got
from
Prashil
Facebook
asking from Facebook, hi, will Queensland open its migration program on 1st of July?
Oh, that'll be a happy day.
Later as they started in October. Hopefully it will, I don't think it'll go this time as
last time it was a big lag, but
far as October. Hopefully by August or something, fingers crossed we should hear anything.
As I said, I'm not into political, but putting the two together, federal labor, state labor, we all, everyone's all excited about the new procedures. So hopefully,
but what I can tell you
early in July,
what I can tell you is though, if your visa is expiring soon, July, August, September, October, don't wait. Please be in touch with the migration agent and come up with a plan B. Because you never know, they may not even open till December, who knows. So be ready, don't wait. I've got Naresh asking, hi, does offshore or onshore matter for 189 from next financial year? Can we expect monthly rounds to happen from next financial year?
We don't have any facts or information about monthly rounds, so we can't be certain or give you a solid answer on it. But we are expecting 189 invitations for offshore applicants next year. Next month is the next year. And also 190 extending out to hopefully offshore applicants as well.
So I've got Naresh asking, can we expect any more rounds from New South Wales for 190 or 491 this financial year? Are they going to fill their quota? If yes, can we expect engineers to be invited?
It's last year, I remember New South Wales did one last kickoff just before July. But it's hard to tell, but maybe being positive, yes, I would like to say. When we were checking with Migration Queensland, they had 5,000 odd invitation to be sorted out a month ago. So
Yeah, but again,
yeah.
please don't wait. If your visa is expiring in the next
What's
4 to
important
5
is getting the
months.
solid visa plan
Yes, please.
underneath you, so that way you know where you're heading and you have a plan A and plan B, because expression of interests aren't substantial visa applications, so you don't get a bridging visa or any visa to stay on, especially if you're ending up your 485. So that this is why you should always plan your 485 or temporary resident or the graduate visa, PSW, whatever they call it. When you get this visa, you have to plan, you do it at the right time. We tell our international students, we teach them when we do online seminars and also in-person seminars in universities and these places, we always tell them, please don't go and put your 485 just because you feel like it. If you have plans to proceed forward into permanent residency, plan your permanent residency so you can get the right thing. And also, if you got to check what sort of studies you've done and how it's going to support you in the in moving forward. Or if you're studying, are you currently doing the right course, and what's the occupational outcome, etc., etc. So
I've got Rishad asking, is it possible to get a student visa for associate degree in civil engineering from TAFE, Sri Lanka? From Sri Lanka, given the current situation.
Absolutely, Rishad.
I think so.
We've got
yeah, come
few
and
of
see
us
us.
already. I'll be in Sri Lanka,
Colombo.
19th of Colombo, 19th of July. We are yet to finalize certain things, but we've already got couple of places for associate degree in civil engineering.
That's such a good course, though.
Yeah, it gives you a
Yeah.
engineer's technician outcome, which is very good.
And TAFE is one of the best places to study their hands-on. I can't
Our experience
come
from
up with any
years and
complaints
years.
for TAFE.
Yeah, absolutely. Over 15 years of dealing with
Yeah.
international students, TAFE has always delivered good vocationally qualified
Courses, and the outcome is really good. If you're a
Yeah.
chef, you will really be a chef if you studied from TAFE.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So good choice, a really good course
Good-
choice.
yeah,
Yes.
and engineering is the next future in Australia right now as well. There's a lot of development going on. Federal government already announced a lot of regional and also metropolitan development. So engineer is going to be a vital occupation in the whole game. So good pick.
Yeah, I think we are going to answer a very last question from Prashil. She's saying, I'm student visa onshore and my wife is dependent on my visa. She's working for accounting firm and now they're going to sponsor her for 186. I would like to know, after applying for 186 visa for my wife and I'm dependent on her application, when can we go on bridging visa and I can stop studying? Okay, good question. Even if you go on the bridging visa, you will have to keep studying.
Until
You
you
can
resign.
only stop studying when you actually have the subclass 186 visa granted. The reason is, even if your bridging visa A comes into effect, that bridging visa A will have the conditions of the visa that you held when you applied for the 186. So until your 186 is granted, keep studying. And if you need my help with the 186, get in touch with me. It's one of my favorite visas.
If you want to get the visa, maybe ask Claire to book me.
No, that's not true.
Can we convert subclass 600 tourist visa into student? If you're currently onshore, yes, you can. Having said that, you don't have 8503
Yeah.
condition, and also
There are some other conditions now as well.
GTE, genuine temporary entrant. If you don't meet that criteria properly, regardless whether you're onshore or offshore, it's
Yeah, but
very
it can.
strict.
So subclass 600 visa is a visa that allows you to come onshore and do lodge a student visa, given that it does not have the condition 8503 or 8534 or 8531. So there are some conditions. All right, I think that's it
Let's-
for
let's-
today.
Let us finish it off for the day. Yeah, Sashani, she's got one last question. I'm a developer. I'm in Queensland. Now come see us.
While my employer is in New South Wales, is there any possibility to apply for 491 or 190? Apply from Queensland or somewhere else?
So your employee is in New South Wales. So if you going to do that, so you got to obey by the protocols that's set up by New South Wales government. So at the moment, you have to be in New South Wales for 3 months for 491, unless the Schedule 3 491, right?
Yeah, I think your dilemma is because your employer is in New South Wales, but you are working from Queensland. Are you working from home? Why don't you get in touch with us, Sachini? Send us an email to admin@sirus.com.au. We will look into it and advise what is the best course of action for you, whether you qualify for New South Wales or you qualify for Queensland.
So if you qualified enough, you might be able to go into a 482 or 186 rather than go in the 491 pathway.
Yeah,
So that way you
which
don't
could
have
be
to
better for
shift the states as well. So
Yeah.
be in touch.
Yeah, be in touch. We will
Ask the
have a
question
look.
from the employer as well to see if they're willing to sponsor you.
Yeah.
Kasun's got a quick question. In order to take a TAFE course, IELTS is asked for after migration. IELTS is English is one of the prerequisites to
You
get
need
a...
IELTS to get an offer letter. So that is first thing. You need English even before you can get an offer letter to apply for visa. So sit for your IELTS. Chop, chop, chop. Okay,
Sorry
I
for the
think...
bad news, but hopefully things will get better. No one likes to sit for English courses. That's what I'm getting from my business visa clients every day. Some people, luckily, business visa you don't need IELTS, but you can pay for it.
Yeah.
So
All right, guys, that's
Thanks
it
very
for
much.
today.
That's
Thank you so much
that-
for
that's-
listening to us. Hopefully, we did answer some of your questions and did give you some valuable information. If you need more information or if you need help with any Australian visa, get in touch with us. Our email address is admin@sirus.com.au.
there's going to be a lot of new news coming through next 4 weeks. As you
Yeah.
said, 1st of July is going to be a key date. And then there'll be lots of news coming up. So it is also a good opportunity for you to remember to subscribe. So subscribing, putting the thumbs up, liking
Hit
us
the
in
bell
Facebook
button.
and bell button. That will be giving you an alert every time we put out, because Mario's very active with Lena. Lena and Mario put out these new updates all the time.
Yeah.
So
It is worth getting to know the new updates because it could mean, visa or no visa for you.
So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, hit the subscribe button. And I feel like a month is too long, and we might change these sessions to 2 weekly again. So
Yeah, so
we never
until
know.
then,
Let's see
we
if you
will
give us,
decide and we'll get back to you.
if
Stay
we have
safe.
30,000 subscribers by the 1st of July, I'll change it to every fortnight.
All
So
right,
until
stay
then,
safe,
stay safe. God
guys.
bless you all. Bye-bye.
We'll be in touch again.